Hey guys, Wrestling Throwdown here. I'm Haley and Joe cannot be with me tonight. So I got a special guest with me tonight, Mr. Josh Jones. Say hi, Josh.
How's it going?
Alrighty. We are going to talk about Raw last night. Now, for me, Raw was, it was pretty average. It was pretty good. It had some good points. Um, some very funny moments, obviously, with Damian and Miz and that, and we'll get into that. But and then obviously it's gotten more into the whole WrestleMania thing, so obviously the ladder match is getting bigger and bigger for the Intercontinental title match. Obviously we thought it was just going to be Dean and Wade, and obviously it turned into so much more. Josh, what did you think about Raw?
Honestly, from the booking and the way they've been going, everything the last few weeks, I think they've started to kind of turn around. We got some really great comedy segments, even in just different matches, like when we'll talk about the match with Dean Ambrose and Barrett and all that, with the interruption by Luke Harper and the R-Truth bit. Some great, great stuff. The comedy segment with Miz and Mizdow had me almost in tears. I mean, that was pushing the borderline of PG to the nth degree. Great to see. You had the Triple H segment with Booker T, which we'll get into later, that was really well done. And, of course, yet another beautifully executed promo by Bray Wyatt. And even the main event, which I was on, started to pick up towards the end. We saw more development from Roman Reigns and a little bit more of an in-depth character development, which is what I'm really liking to see. So, not bad in my opinion. I mean, like I said, I'll give it 3 out of 5 stars, pushing a 3.5.
Alrighty. So, sorry about that, guys. Opening segment. Seth is talking about Jon Stewart, and if you guys didn't see, Seth was on the Daily Show over the past week, and he made a little promo there. And so Seth talks about Jon, and he says, that he's obviously better than him and everything, and he made the show better, blah, blah, blah. And Roman Reigns obviously heard enough, and he interrupts him. And pretty much Rollins says that he can do pretty much whatever he wants. He says that he can outlast Roman Reigns in the ring, and that he's better than him, and it should be him in the WrestleMania match. And so obviously turns into a physical brawl, and that's pretty much it. And he Superman punches him in the face, and obviously Seth walks away very angry. Not really sure why Roman needed to get in this whole thing. I guess because Seth isn't really feuding with anybody at the moment. He's supposed to be feuding with Randy, but obviously Randy hasn't made his full turn yet, so I don't know when that's going to happen. I don't know if they're just going to wait until after WrestleMania to do that, and have him cost him the Money in the Bank briefcase cash in. Who the hell knows what's going on with that, but I guess because Seth, obviously, like I said, doesn't really have anyone to feud with, Roman Reigns is pretty much the person who obviously likes to talk back to him right now. And Josh, your thoughts?
Personally, I'm kind of looking at it in a different perspective. I'm looking at the whole thing with Jon Stewart. Pointless. I understand they're trying to get more mainstream views for WrestleMania by bringing the fans in from Comedy Central to see what Jon Stewart was going to do. Plus, they're going to pop the crowd with the hometown boy. Okay, great. But it did nothing. It did nothing for Rollins. It did nothing for Jon Stewart, other than show a comedian basically pissing himself in the middle of the ring, which did nothing. The opening segment itself was way too long. Roman Reigns coming out. I can see where it's going with it because they're still trying to do the continuation of the Roman Reigns Seth Rollins bit with the dissolution of the Shield. Great. Reigns obviously kind of getting more of that cocky bravado that we see him developing over the last few weeks, which is nice. Ends with a nice right hand, sends Rollins powdering out, and then he beats the crap out of J&J Security, which is something that's getting really, really old. Mercury and Noble were two talented guys back in the Ruthless Aggression era that are now just being used as the new Stooges. they're Briscoe and Patterson all over again, and it's just poorly executed every week. And that's about the best I've got on that one.
Yeah, they definitely need to go. I really don't see any more point in them. I'm surprised they have stayed as long as they have. I'm sure that Seth is going to eventually get rid of them. I think after he loses his first title reign and loses the title, hopefully then he'll kind of blow up and take it out on them, and hopefully that'll be the end of those two. But
see, I don't want it to be the end of those two. Personally, with the way they're bumping around the ring, they're not showing that they've lost it in any way. If you're going to do that and you're going to push to have these two out there, I understand they're backstage agents and they're helping to write the segments and book everything. But they can still go. At this point, the tag team division's hurting. Have them put the gear back on and go out there and just, if they have to job, let them job. But at least give them something better than this. And JBL on commentary does nothing for me as he's putting them over as trained by the SEALs. Just more ridiculous, forgive my language, bullshit.
That's true. I definitely agree with the whole tag team division obviously being bad, and obviously we can use some better tag teams. So they might as well have something for them. I mean, they're used in the back anyways. They might as well, find something where their place can fit, I guess. Alrighty, Bad News Barrett versus Dean Ambrose. Now this was obviously a very funny segment. R-Truth obviously is getting pushed now. For how long? Not really sure. He's back into the whole comedy bit with the whole spider thing I've noticed he was talking about and all that, and it works for him. It definitely works for him. I do think it's kind of random for them to just finally push him again. Maybe it's because he's about ready to retire. Maybe it's because he's obviously, because he's older. He's an older guy. I think he's in his 40s already, 42 or something like that. So maybe they just, want to give him one last good run for how long he's been with the company. I'm not really sure what the deal with that is. I think they have better people to push, but I don't really have a problem with R-Truth. So, and as for this whole Intercontinental stealing the title thing, I love it. It's definitely something they haven't done in a while, and it works. And obviously with this whole ladder match too, this is obviously supposed to be their replacement for the Money in the Bank at WrestleMania. And I think they need to keep this. I think this is a really good idea for WrestleMania. Have, the Intercontinental title on the line, or even the U.S. title, and put it in a ladder match and do this, because I think that this could be a great match. I mean, you got Dean Ambrose in here, you got Bad News Barrett, you got Luke Harper now, you got Dolph Ziggler, and now you got Daniel Bryan, obviously, now, too. Am I happy about the Daniel Bryan thing? Not really. But I do hope that Dean pulls out of this and ends up winning the whole thing. I think he deserves it the most. That's just my opinion. Josh, your thoughts?
Oh, I've got a lot for this one. First off, you have Ambrose, who's really developing really well. This is going to be the program that's going to get him ready for the main event. Same thing with Barrett. It's a great way to develop everybody. I disagree with you on, this might be R-Truth's last thing. I remember following R-Truth back in the late 90s and early 2000s when he came in as K-Quick and was tagged up with Road Dogg. Very, very talented. I watched him when he went to TNA as Ron the Truth Killings. Again, very talented worker. He's a suntan Superman, as he called himself. The comedy bit that he's working now, unlike the little Jimmy crap that we saw for a while, this is really, really well done. You saw that as he's sitting on the commentary team, and you had Luke Harper come up behind him, and they did that whole little bit, which was priceless. The stealing the title gimmick, it reminds me a little bit of back when Shane McMahon had the European title after he got it out of X-Pac's bag and all that back in, 98. It was really well done. But they're also now using the Intercontinental title for what it used to be, which was the workhorse title. It was the title match that everybody had to see. Take a look at WrestleMania 10. The match everybody remembers, Shawn Michaels Razor Ramon ladder match for the Intercontinental title. The rest of it was all okay, but it wasn't that. You look at when at SummerSlam, when they did Wembley Stadium, it was, you know, the Intercontinental, actually I think it was the European title for that, I apologize, but you had so many great Intercontinental title feuds. It was the title that got you ready to be in the main event, and that's what they're building it as now. Daniel Bryan being in there, I'm actually not upset with that, because right now they have to do something like that with him. He's coming back off the neck injury, so you don't know how much longer he can really push it before he has to edge himself and basically retire because of the injury. This is a way to keep him relevant and to also let him work and see how long he can still go for. It also allows a big name like Daniel Bryan, who's a big money draw, to be in an undercard match that will get people interested in that even more than with just Dean Ambrose. It's a match that can make all of them, and again, brings about the prestige the Intercontinental title used to have when it was that white strap championship. I still remember SummerSlam with The Rock and Triple H for the Intercontinental title. Fantastic match. Some of the best ladder matches were over the IC title, and I just see this at WrestleMania as being a wonderful, wonderful idea. And the talent they're putting in this match, Daniel Bryan, Dolph Ziggler, Dean Ambrose, Barrett, Luke Harper, all fantastic talent, and all of them can be pushed to the moon after this. It's just a beautiful way to do everything, and I thoroughly enjoy it. The stealing of the title thing is just entertainment no matter what segment it is. I love watching it, and it's really helping to make R-Truth get over a little bit more and get to where he should be. We obviously know that R-Truth will never be given a WWE title shot. It's not going to happen. He's never been pushed to that level. The Intercontinental title completely deserves it, and I think that he could make a good name for himself off of that. Though I agree with you, I'd love to see Ambrose come out of this thing with the title, but really, I don't care who comes out of it with the belt, because it's going to be a fantastic and entertaining match. It's got money written all over it, and I'm just looking forward to seeing it.
Definitely. Alrighty. I know that you enjoyed this segment. The Miz's commercial.
Oh, God.
Now, everyone was talking about this, saying that it was not PG, and they're surprised they actually did it. It was very, very entertaining. Obviously, got Damien Mizdow, obviously getting that bigger push, and obviously it's creating more and more tension between The Miz and Damien Mizdow. Do I still think that their match is going to happen at WrestleMania? It could, but I think they might wait on this. I think they're going to pull it out longer and longer, especially because they have all these matches pretty much set right now. So, and hopefully, like I said, this really gets this whole push for Damien. Hopefully, you know, he does get this push, and hopefully they stick with it, because they're known for doing this push for 3 or 4 months and then killing the person. And that's what I'm worried about, what's going to happen with Damien. I know a lot of people like him, and I know a lot of people think he deserves this. He is very entertaining, and he's very good on the mic, so I definitely say give him a shot. If he can make it, I know he can make it work. So, and this is obviously, you know, people, I also want to talk about this. People, you know, give Miz such a bad thing. Like, they always say that he's, like, not a good wrestler and that he gives all these crappy gimmicks and everything like that. But I feel like, obviously, Miz, what he does is he takes a gimmick and he does make it work. He makes it work to the best of his ability. Yeah, he doesn't have the best gimmicks sometimes, and sometimes, you know, he kind of gets thrown in the card, lost in it. But I feel like if it wasn't for him and if it wasn't for the Damien Mizdow thing and for people starting to really cheer at him, I feel like Damien would never be getting this push. So I feel like we have Miz to thank for that, and I feel like people should be more appreciative of the Miz. And as for the commercial, it was gold. I feel like this was very original. It was different. Something they haven't done in a really long time. I feel like they needed this. Raw really needed this. And, yeah, it's a PG show, but I feel like this is different. I feel like they needed to make it up there again. I feel like they needed to throw PG out the window for this, and I'm glad that they did because it definitely turned out really great. Josh?
Wow. This entire segment, like I said, had me in stitches. Though I disagree with you on a few things that I'll get into in a moment. Damien Sandow, the hell of calling him Mizdow, has been handed, again, this is where my language is going to come into effect, and I apologize, has been handed shit sandwich after shit sandwich after shit sandwich for a gimmick, and has made every one of them work.
Mm-hmm. They both have.
From the gimmick where he was a cocky, arrogant, overeducated person to when he was imitating everyone to this. No matter what he's given, he puts his all into it. Did he need Miz for this? Yeah, in a way, because it worked off it, and we can see the split coming. Personally, I'm not a fan of The Miz. I really just, I've never been a fan of his work, never been a fan of his promo. Just never been a fan of him, period. You know, I understand there's a lot of Miz fanboys out there, and good for you guys. I look at it from a perspective of somebody who's in the ring, like myself. I just don't like his work. That's just a personal worker aspect for myself. He could be a lot better, but yes, he had a great bit with R-Truth for a while. You know, had fun with Jericho and all that stuff for a little bit, and it was okay. Lately, he's just cooled off completely, in my view. This Hollywood star thing, they tried that with The Rock, and it didn't work very well. They need to cool it, repackage him, end this garbage. You know, I see when, though I have to admit, he did sell it pretty well with the embarrassment, almost looked like he was crying, did that very, very well. I give him credit for that. I do agree they're going to pull out the, no pun intended, with the, Niagara. I do agree they're going to push the feud out a little bit longer. I see it going till about SummerSlam for the actual match, simply because of WrestleMania, we already know we're going to get Goldust versus Stardust. So why are we going to have two tag teams breaking up and having two tag team feud matches ending at WrestleMania? It overpopulates the card with that type of thing. So I don't see it happening at WrestleMania, which is fine. What I do see happening, though, I could be wrong, but I'm going to call this one, and this is how I would book it. Both Miz and Mizdow are in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. Mizdow eliminates Miz. Builds even more tension, puts Mizdow in the position where now he's going to start outshining the Miz. Miz can continue with the jealousy. Hey, man, you eliminated me. You're supposed to be my assistant. Giving Miz all the heat that he needs and giving Damien the shine that he needs off of this. And puts them both in a position to have a great match. But it builds the drama. Don't do it at Mania because you're going to blow it too quick. This is going to sound very dirty, especially with the Niagara bit, and I apologize. But with something like this storyline, you don't want to blow your load too fast. This is something that needs to be built a little bit more. We started seeing it about the Royal Rumble. But with Goldust and Stardust, we saw it a few months before that. We saw the tension beginning to build. Build it a little bit more. The slow burn storylines, much like the Bray Wyatt and The Undertaker calling out and never using the name, slow burn gets you the most money, the most views. A quick book and end, a fast payoff never works, in my opinion. And this is after all the years I've been a wrestling fan, all the years I've been in the business. It always helps to just extend it out until the people are literally red hot and they have to see it. Then you give it to them. SummerSlam would be the perfect time. And that's my take on that one.
Definitely. I agree with that. Bray Wyatt calls out The Undertaker once more. This was a great segment. Short and sweet and to the point. Obviously brings out a wooden casket, lights it on fire, and watches it burn. And now, obviously, Undertaker is not supposed to appear until WrestleMania. And Josh, I know you were talking to me about this. You've seen that Undertaker was in really good shape. So, and he's ready. So, obviously, that'll be more of a surprise. Obviously, when we see him at WrestleMania, he's going to be jacked up and ready than he's ever been before. And that's good, too, because obviously he had a scare last year. So, and with Bray Wyatt Bray Wyatt's going to take care of him. I'm sure they're going to have a great match. Obviously, a casket match. And I'm looking forward to it. Bray, obviously, promos are always on point, always beautiful, to the point. And I've heard a few people saying that they don't like Bray Wyatt and they think he's overrated and all that. To me, I think that's garbage. I'm sorry you're allowed to have your opinion and everything like that, but Bray Wyatt is one of those people that I feel like you have to like him. I feel like it's impossible to hate him. I feel like what he gives for us, the whole in-ring, the promos, just everything repackaged. When he was Husky Harris, obviously, that went down the drain. I feel like his Bray Wyatt character has completely just made his whole wrestling career. And I feel like if it wasn't for Bray Wyatt, he would probably either be in TNA, Independence, Indies, whatever, you know. He might not even be in wrestling. Who knows? So, and Josh, your take?
Okay, kids, sit down, strap in, because I got to take you for a ride on this one. All right, first off, let's go with what Bray Wyatt really is and what this match they're doing really is. Do I see it as a casket match? More than likely. Do I really care if it's a regular match or casket match? No. The way I look at it, right now what they're doing, what WWE is doing, this match is to establish Bray Wyatt as this generation's Undertaker. He is going to take over the position of the Phenom, of the dark character that can do whatever he wants, and the fans are going to love him for it. The reason I say this is, I guess in a way it's biased. My biggest influence when I got into the wrestling business was The Undertaker. He entertained me in a way that no one else ever could, never has. Bray Wyatt, I've incorporated some of him into my career as well, as Haley well knows. I enjoy his promo. I enjoy his reckless abandon in the ring. And this entire match is going to be a complete mindfuck, because they're going to cut some of the... Bray Wyatt has been cutting some of the best promos I have seen in years to build this match. I love the fact they're keeping The Undertaker off air until WrestleMania. Yes, I have seen pictures, as I told you. Taker's in shape. He's looking like the Phenom again. Yes, he's still got the mohawk, which annoys me, but whatever. I'm going bald too, so at some point, man, it's all got to go. But, you know, this match is going to be something very special. Bray, we knew for weeks, after probably the second promo that he did, before he actually, what happened at Fastlane, we knew he was calling out the dead man. And it's a way to just, this, it doesn't matter who goes over. Now, if the streak was on the line, sorry, Taker, I'd hand the streak to Bray to really establish him as this generation's Undertaker. We know Taker doesn't have much longer. I see him going to the Hall of Fame next year and maybe doing Undertaker versus Sting next year, and that'll be it. That's all I want to see. I'll be happy with that. Bray Wyatt, since the repackaging from Husky Harris, has been on top of his game and completely untouchable. No one can touch his promo. No one can touch his crowd reaction. Not even John Cena. You know, you've got the people holding up the cell phones, his fireflies. Bray Wyatt is over with the crowd to a degree that few ever get to. He is Undertaker over. He is Stone Cold Steve Austin over. He is even CM Punk over. This match is a career-defining moment for him. This is also the first WrestleMania we've had with no streak on the line. So it doesn't mean as much. But for him to say, I've come to claim the soul of The Undertaker. You know, I'll talk, I guess, I'm going to have to go a little gimmicky here. Don't hunt what you can't kill, and that's kind of what they're going for. Don't call out the dead man, because when the dead man answers, you better hope to God you're not home. And the way that I've seen him look, the way he's been working out, he's going to be able to go. Yeah, Bray Wyatt's going to have to protect him a little bit, obviously, with the concussion from last year. That was a really major health scare for for Mark Calloway. You know, he looked really bad at the end of that match. Whatever they did to convince him to come back to do this match, thank you, Vince. And I don't say that often. But this is going to be something no one can miss. This is going to be the match that establishes Bray Wyatt, that launches him to that superstardom, where from this point on, after WrestleMania, Bray Wyatt could walk right into the WWE World Heavyweight title picture. He could walk into the Intercontinental title picture. He could walk anywhere he wants with his head held high, because he got exactly what he deserves. Bray Wyatt is the future of this business, and I'd stake my career on that. I would stake everything I love in this business on that. Bray Wyatt is here to stay. If he hadn't been repackaged as Bray Wyatt, as you said, he might have been future endeavored. He might have been in NXT having great matches. But for him to become the character that he wanted to be, because Bray Wyatt is who he wanted to be, WWE said, okay, fine, you can just sink or swim with it. He took that ball, and he's still running. And there's no way you can stop Bray Wyatt with this. And this match, if it is Undertaker's last, we're going to get one hell of an exit. And that's my take on that one.
Completely agree. Alrighty, I really don't have much to say about this one, but the Usos and Naomi versus Cesaro, Tyson Kidd, and Natalya. Pretty much the whole tag team division is just shot.
It's utter shit. It's utter shit.
It's so boring. They don't have anybody. They don't have. I mean, they just keep breaking up these good tag teams. I mean, thankfully the primetime players are back together, because if it wasn't for them, I feel like, and I know you don't really care for the primetime players. I like them a lot. I think that.
As soon as you said PTP, I know Joe just had, he had a cheap pop in his living room.
But I think
that was for you, Joe.
I think that they should have. I feel like almost it's too late now for them, because I feel like they should have gave them the titles before they broke up, and now that they're kind of like back together again, I don't know if it's going to mean as much. But I mean, you got New Day too. They totally messed the ball with them. They should have turned them heel, and even when they didn't turn them heel, it feels like they kind of had them for like a month out there, and now they're just like barely using them.
Well, when you say New Day, you know how they call out New Day? What you really want to say is piss break.
And it's a shame, because those that could have been a good group. I think that they could have worked, especially if they were a heel fraction, but obviously that wasn't the case. They acted like it was going to work. They tried it for a month, and now it's just kind of like whatever. Natalya and Naomi, obviously this is a total divas thing, obviously just to give them more, I guess, involved with Tyson Kidd's relationship and Natalya. Now they're trying to say that their relationship's better and that they're getting along better, because they're obviously getting along better on TV, which is just, it's so ridiculous. It's just like, why do they always have to do that? Like with Total Divas, they act like it's so real and everything. And it's just like, the same with like the Bella Twins and everything like that. Like when they were fighting, they had to split them up, and now that they're better again, they're back together. It doesn't make sense. It really doesn't.
Okay.
I mean, Josh, what's your takes on this whole thing?
Oh man, I'd love to be able to pass on this entire segment, but I can't. So, let's start out with the Naomi and Natalya thing, and I simply say, who cares? I have seen better acting at my 9-year-old son's school plays than I have on Total Divas. Okay? This is just bad soap opera, bad Hollywood writing on crack. Now, you look at the fact that you have Tyson Kidd and Cesaro. Cesaro, I was a fan of him when he was Claudio Castagnoli on the Indies and in ROH. Great talent. Tyson Kidd, can somebody just, make him grow a couple inches, let him hit puberty? He looks like a 12-year-old trying to play wrestler. And the headphone thing, no. Thankfully, he got rid of the Kwee-wee haircut. That was good. I'm happy with that one. But and if you don't know who Kwee-wee is, you're not really missing a whole lot. Go look up old school WCW and cringe. Next, we'll go with Tyson Kidd. I can take him or leave him. The Usos, as I said on the Wrestling Throwdown Facebook page, I'm sick of seeing them. I understand they're Rikishi's kids. They're talented. Yes. But for the love of God, can we please breathe some new life into the tag team division? I'd love to see the Ascension take their place in the tag team division. But right now, they're being...
with the primetime players, I guess.
Okay, Passarelli, this one I'm going to have to give you a little bit of help here. The PTP, yes, I can't stand them. I never could. They just annoyed me. The millions of dollars thing made me want to put an axe through my TV. But at least it's an established tag team. They're bringing back the feud with the Ascension, but what does it do for either team? The PTP weren't together long enough and didn't establish a repertoire enough to really warrant putting over the Ascension. The Ascension came in, very legendary tag teams, got their ass kicked by the APA, at least JBL the Clothesline from Hell, and then the New Age Outlaws decided to beat them like redheaded stepchildren. Okay, great. So you have a tag team division that is failing miserably. This is coming from a recently former tag team champion. So I look at it this way. The tag team division has been dead for years. They died back when the brands were still split, and before the tag team titles were unified, we had teams like London and Kendrick, the new Pitbulls, and all that kind of stuff. They need to breathe new life into this thing, and the Usos, Tyson and Kidd and Cesaro, not what we need. Do I give a flying crap about Total Divas and the Naomi and Natalya thing? No. Natalya can wrestle. Naomi, I'm pretty sure my cat could put on a better match.
Really? You're the first person I've heard say that. A lot of people think she's talented.
You know why they think she's talented? Because she wears hooker boots and's got a big ass. That's why people like her. She is the eye candy that most 18 to 24-year-old men are sitting in their bathrooms thinking about. No, I do not care. This show is not PG. This is just my opinion. Maybe you don't share it, but I'm going to share mine anyway. I have been given this forum, and I'm running with it. Naomi came from being one of the Funkadactyls, which should have been career homicide for her. She somehow got out of that. Good for her. And then you go to this whole thing with the Usos, where that's been long and drawn out, poorly executed. Tyson and Kidd were thrown together in NXT because WWE couldn't figure out what the hell to do with them, and they had to justify paying them the contract somehow. So they put him in a tag team. Cesaro, they missed the boat on. Back when he was with Paul Heyman, he was as over as he is ever going to get, and they let him cool off to the point, we've got problems. And that's why you see him where he is now. So with this entire segment, I could have literally just crumpled that piece of paper up they booked this on, lit it on fire, and I would have had more entertainment watching it burn. And that's my opinion on that one.
Wow. I mean, I think that Cesaro, I really didn't like him when he was with Paul Heyman. I think right before then is when they really dropped the ball, like when he was so over as a face or starting to turn off as a face. They should have kept him face, and obviously they did not want him to be face, and so that's why they put him with Paul Heyman so he could get more heat. It really didn't work. And now I just feel like, I feel so bad for the guy because he's so talented. And, he just, right after the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, right when he won that is when they should have just skyrocketed the push. Exactly.
They should have pulled the trigger there, and they pulled the trigger all right to the let's kill your gimmick gun to the side of his head. Because that's exactly what they did. They blew his creative brains all over the wall and just said, to hell with it, we're just going to do whatever we want. And they blew it. Big time. And I'm sure maybe 2-3 years from now, WWE may realize it. Doubt it. But they might, and they're going to regret it. Do they regret it now? No. Because their roster is so heavily populated, but with mediocre talent at best. And the main event guys, most of them aren't ready yet, and they're trying to get them ready. Because we know Orton and Cena don't have much time left. and they're trying to get all these people ready, but they're going about it the wrong way, and Cesaro got lost in the shuffle, and I feel so bad for him. I almost want to cry. So.
Definitely. John Cena wants to obviously get in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. Because obviously, supposedly, he's acting like he's not going to face Rusev. I still think it's going to happen. But, I mean, WWE is known for changing things at the last minute. Maybe they thought that Cena wasn't the right guy to beat Rusev's undefeated streak. And maybe John Cena really is just going to be in the Battle Royal. I highly doubt that's going to happen. I still think that him and Rusev are going to have their match. But anything's possible. It's WWE, like I said. They changed their mind over everything. I mean, this is coming from the people who changed the script one time, the whole script like an hour before the show one time. So this really wouldn't surprise me if they just completely changed their mind and just said that they'll wait on that, or, who knows.
Oh, boy. Where do I start with this abortion of a storyline? Okay, let's start with Cena. We all know that right now, Cena is being moved out of the main picture. He's going to be put into a Bruno Sammartino role, where he's going to be one of the top guys, but he's going to be out of the WWE title picture to let other younger talent get established there. Great. The thing is with that, and what most people don't know is backstage, John Cena is getting a little pissed off with WWE. He's got a lot of big money offers on the table to do outside stuff from the WWE that Vince McMahon is vetoing and saying, no, I'm not going to let you do it. So what we saw with Stephanie McMahon and John Cena in that ring, when she said that John Cena would be nothing without the WWE, that's about as close to a shoot as you're going to get. And that was kind of like, whoa. I understand CM Punk broke down the fourth wall with the pipe bomb promos. And that's what started the whole reality era, which is when booking just went to hell in a handbasket. But that was kind of, in my opinion, something like that should have been left alone. Because we all know how much money and how much merchandise Cena moves. Don't do it, because WWE's going to shoot themselves in the foot, which they have want to do quite a bit. Don't do it. I don't see them not doing Cena versus Rusev at WrestleMania. I see that happening. I do see Cena going over and taking the U.S. title. If he brings back the spinner, I'm flying to Stamford and slapping Vince McMahon personally. That was retarded. If I want to see something spinning, I go down the street to the ghetto and watch some rims. So, comedy aside, which I'm going to be throwing a lot more of this in here, Rusev, they're establishing him as the new foreign heel. Okay, great. We had that when we had, Sergeant Slaughter versus the Iron Sheik. We saw that. Great. Good stuff. Good stuff. Foreign storylines usually have a tendency to work because it somehow elicits the patriotic response from the American crowd. Except when it goes overseas to the countries that aren't America, and it goes over like a fart in church. Because nobody cares. With the way they're booking it, okay, you're putting Cena in a position where he's going to look a little weak. We're going to see in the next couple of weeks, I can see it, Rusev will be having a match, Cena's going to run in, beat the crap out of him, which is going to get the match at WrestleMania. Cena in the Battle Royal would be a bad move for WWE because then they lose the big money draw of him in a singles match. You can't put a star like John Cena in a Battle Royal at that kind of show without losing money. In WWE, it's not about what the fans want. We all know that. It's about what Vince McMahon wants and what Vince McMahon's wallet wants. Very rarely do we get what we want, no matter how much we chant for it, try to hijack Raw, or whatever the heck else we're going to do, or the hashtag cancel the WWE Network, or unsubscribe, or whatever. We all see how well those movements, well, how do I say this nicely, failed. All aboard the fail boat, come fail away with me. They did nothing. They laughed at it, thought it was funny, and proved that the WWE machine is stronger than we will ever be able to take down. So I do see the match happening at WrestleMania. What happens, in my opinion, they screwed up the finish badly at Fastlane. What they needed to do is not have him go over quite like that. At that point, what Rusev needed to do was debut a new finishing move. Not the Accolade. Don't kick him in the nuts like a 12-year-old in a schoolyard fight behind the teacher's back, like, no, 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 little Johnny, you can't do that, and then somehow expect it to work. Should have been just some kind of, a big slam finish that would make him look dominant. Not kick him in the nuts and have him pass out because of pain. Because we all know somehow Super Cena always comes back, puts on the big S on his chest, and flies in to save the day. We all know how it's going to go down. We've been seeing it for years. And again, the U.S. title the match is going to happen because it's the only way to really reestablish the U.S. title, which in WCW was amazing. Had some great stuff here in the WWE when it came here. Forgive me for mentioning this if it offends anybody, but I'm a wrestling historian. Chris Benoit versus Booker T when they had that in SmackDown. Great stuff. I understand what happened with Benoit, and that's why I rarely mention him. But you can't take that away from him. Yet Eddie Guerrero was the U.S. champion. Great stuff happened with the U.S. title when Stephanie McMahon brought it back on SmackDown with the brand extension back in about 2002. Very well done. And then all of a sudden, Dean Ambrose had it, and it died. It died. Ambrose had it for months, never defended it. Just carried it around like a piece of baggage. You need to bring it back. And the only way you can do that is to put it on somebody like Cena, who has the star power to elevate the title. Now, will that happen? More than likely, because they need the payoff. Will it be do I see it going down in a clean victory? Yeah, I see Cena hulking up like Hulk Hogan, brother, and taking down the horrible, horrible Russian people, brother, and crushing those communists, brother. That's exactly what's going to happen. And that's about as much as I can say without the FCC getting involved and bleeping me out for the next 5 minutes.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. Everyone just be prepared for Super Cena at WrestleMania, because that's what you're going to get.
Here I come to save the day!
And then he faced Curtis Axel. He demolished him. Nothing really.
Now, hold on a minute.
I mean,
that whole gimmick is so bad it's actually good. I'm actually kind of starting to get behind the hashtag Axelmania bit. It's one of those gimmicks that's just so god-awful, you can't help but be entertained. It was like the Eugene gimmick. It was the most god-awful thing they could have done in Nick Dinsmore, but it got over and it worked. And Curtis Axel is the son of Mr. Perfect, the grandson of Larry the Axe Hennig. Two fantastic, phenomenal workers. I love Mr. Perfect, love the Axeman, and he's the third generation of that. It has amazing potential. The whole Royal Rumble I've been in for 30-some-odd days and blah, 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 it's actually entertaining. It's that train wreck you just can't look away from. So, good on you, Curtis. Keep it up. Let's see what you can do with it. Rip off your shirt and go, brother, and let's see what happens when Axelmania runs wild on you.
Yeah, we'll see. I still don't see him doing anything with it, but we'll see. I mean,
would you rather put him back with Ryback and be Rybaxel? I mean, you have you have one talented guy in Curtis Axel, and Ryback, who's a walking steroid endorsement.
And that's what's so sad about it. Curtis Axel started off so good, and then they killed him again, like they do with most people.
The name Heath Slater rings a bell.
Oh my God, don't even talk about Heath Slater. I love him, and I'm so pissed off, and I know you like him too. Oh,
he's talented, but the problem is,
so
like Curtis Axel.
My favorite.
Let's go with Heath Slater, Curtis Axel. When Drew McIntyre was here before he got Future Endeavored, and now it's Drew Galloway in TNA. When you look at what they did with them, shitty gimmick after shitty gimmick after shitty gimmick does not a talent make.
Heath Slater makes it work, though. He has fun with it. He definitely can make it work. So
he can. So can Zack Ryder, and look what's happened to both of them. I'm pretty sure you're going to have to go deep in the WWE closet somewhere where the light don't shine anymore to find where they put them. Somewhere behind, King Kong Bundy's gimmick.
Triple H pretty much comes to the ring and he talks more about Sting, and Booker T gets in there and he pretty much says that, he can't stop Sting. Sting's powerful and everything like that. And Triple H obviously gets mad, takes it out, and he pretends to fire him. And then he says, "Oh, I was just kidding. Get back in here." He goes, "I was just showing you how I can control everything. I have power and I can pretty much do whatever I want." So.
Okay. Well, let's get into that one, shall we? You have the cerebral assassin, the King of Kings, and the CEO of WWE. Ugh. Now, let's take a look at Sting. Now, Haley, I know you and I discussed this last night. I have been a massive fan of Sting for many years. Since I watched him face Ric Flair, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, have fantastic matches in WCW. He was the cornerstone of WCW. Everything that was good about WCW was Sting. He came down from the rafters during the NWO angle when he had the crow face paint after doing the bleach blonde thing for so long. Then he did the NWO Wolfpack thing. And moving on from there, because we're not going to touch that one, he then went out and closed out the final Raw against Ric Flair. Final Nitro against Ric Flair in a fantastic match. He went to TNA, had a couple of great matches, did the whole Joker thing that I looked at him and kind of went, man, they got to be paying you some good money. No, why would you, Steve, come on, buddy, don't do that. Ugh. And he's come to WWE now, and obviously they're going to try to do the whole Triple H burying everybody, and the match itself is going to be entertaining, yes. Triple H showing himself to still be the cerebral assassin, but Sting is at the point of his career. He's got 1, 2, maybe 3 more matches left in him before he's going to have to retire. Seeing him against Triple H was never the cornerstone of the company. Never. Sure, he had a great run with DX. Sure, he had a great run in 2000, from 2003 to 2005 with the Evolution and the World Heavyweight Championship monopoly. But lately, he's been brought in to do these angles to either attempt to elevate someone or just completely crap on them. We saw the Triple H versus CM Punk match that was bloody awful. Not from their standpoints, they both did great in the ring, but it did nothing for either one.
Mm-hmm.
You had the Brock Lesnar versus Triple H bit. Great stuff. Did nothing for either one of them. You had Brock Lesnar go down to Triple H. Never should have happened. You need to establish Brock Lesnar as the Beast Incarnate. Bring back to what he was when he was the next big thing and he was F5ing Big Show every week on SmackDown. Or attempting a shooting star press and, eating more canvas than Bob Ross ever painted on. And then you've got Sting coming in with limited dates on his contract. And you have Triple H trying to say that he's going to rid people's memories of Sting. Bad booking. Great idea on paper. The whole firing Booker T thing, personally, I think they did that the wrong way. I would have had him fire Booker T. Absolutely. Leave Booker T off for a week or two. Or even till next Monday night. He was fired till next Monday night when Sting does something. Be it appear via video, a promo, something that basically says you want something, you give Booker T his job back, and I'll give you what you want. Just to play the mind games. It shouldn't have been, oh, I was just kidding, buddy. Really?
Yeah, it was stupid.
It was bad. Triple H cut a great promo. But if you look at who he's been cutting promos against, Ric Flair came in the ring. Ric Flair was WCW. He cut the promo against Booker T, the five-time, I'm not going to keep going, WCW champion. Okay, great. So you're talking to WCW legends. Okay. The thing is, everyone's trying to paint Sting in this light, and Triple H obviously going, I'm all powerful. Dude, I understand you're sleeping with the boss's daughter. You're not God. Last person to try to wrestling god storyline was JBL, and look at how well that turned out.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's reel in the ego there, Paul. Let's reel it back into reality and give Sting his due as to what he was, to what he is, and to what he's going to be now that he's in the WWE.
Definitely.
Next segment.
And I think Sting is supposed to. I think he has one more appearance. I think he's not supposed to be back until the Going Home show, actually.
If he appears at the Go Home show to WrestleMania, it better be something good. Like, he better, I'm going to go back to Fastlane for a minute. When Triple H and Sting had their face-off in the ring, Triple H had the sledgehammer. Ugh. And the next thing you know, Sting pulls out the bat and has it up to his chin, and Triple H is selling this damn thing like he's got a howitzer pointed at him. I understand it's Sting's trademark. What he should have done, here's an idea. I understand it's PG, and you can't do headshots anymore. Tell that to the people I was working, Brian Albertson. Headshots still work. They hurt like hell. But, what they should have done was had Sting break the bat over Triple H's back. Kind of like a Singapore cane got broken over mine. But, that would have established Sting as, whoa, he took out Triple H. Keep Triple H off the show for a couple of weeks to sell the injury. So many potential ways they could have gone with this, but they're going full steam ahead, and it's just it's already starting to lose its luster. Yes, I want to see Sting wrestle. I want to see the icon. I want to see the vigilante. I mean, if we call him the vigilante one more time, I'm going to start calling him detective and waiting for the Batman mask. I mean, that's just how it's going with that one. But they need to figure out a way to salvage a little bit of the Triple H ego from it and really show Sting's dominance and Sting's dark side, not just have Triple H putting himself over every week and having WCW stars try to put him over and then Triple H knocking Ric Flair on his ass or firing Booker T. So Triple H right now is doing what Vince McMahon did for years after he bought out WCW, which is dropping trout and just crapping all over the memory of it. Which is a horrible thing to do, especially with the catalog of fantastic stuff that WCW had. I understand WWE wants to rid the world of WCW. Can't do it. Can't do it. And that's about all I'm going to say on that, or else I'll go with another hour and a half of just bitching. Continue.
Alrighty. Well, we had a return tonight, or last night. So it was shocking, too. Obviously, I don't think anyone was expecting her back. I had a feeling she would be back before WrestleMania, but after she didn't reappear after Fastlane, I was kind of like, they did it at a random time, too. But they had Paige versus Nikki Bella for the Divas title, and obviously Paige was about ready to win. And Brie got in the ring and obviously caused a DQ. They both started beating her up. And then AJ Lee returned. That actually helped Paige, so I guess they're both faces now. I still think AJ should have returned as a heel, but that's just my opinion. But I guess since she's still feuding with the Bellas and everything, I guess it wouldn't have made sense for her to be a heel. This is probably what's going to happen at WrestleMania, triple threat, or even a fatal four-way. I could see maybe if they put Brie in there. Highly doubt it, though. I'd see a triple threat. Nikki Bella, AJ Lee, and Paige, with hopefully Paige taking the title. And I would like to see AJ shake hands with her and walk away, because I feel like if they just give the belt to AJ again, there's going to be no point to it. Like, it's just like, it feels like every single time she takes a break, they'll put it on someone else just for her to hold it, for them to hold it while she's gone, and then as soon as she comes back, she gets it again. And there's really no point to that. So I think if she really is going to stay, then give her something else. Like, why does she have to be in the title picture? Why can't she just have a normal feud with someone? Why can't she just... there's not much really left you can do with AJ Lee, because she's done pretty much everything. She's been, multiple times Divas champion. She's longest Divas reigning champion. She's been GM. She's pretty much had every love storyline you can think of. She's been heel. She's been face. There's really nothing. She's been special guest referee. I mean, she's been everything. So there's really nothing left you can do for her. I know she's had a short career, but if think of something different, but I don't want her to have the damn belt again. At least at least if they're gonna give her back the belt, at least let Paige have it for a few months before she catches and grabs it again, because it makes no point for her to leave and then take it back.
All right, I look at it this way. Yes, AJ Lee has been everything lately except for entertaining. It's I look at the women's division. No one cares anymore. The Bellas can't wrestle. The only reason that they are where they are is who they're sleeping with. Paige should have the Divas title. But it should have never become the Divas title. It should have remained the Women's Championship, but I'll let that one go too. The real women's wrestling is dead except for on NXT, with Sasha Banks, Charlotte, and the likes of that caliber talent, which is where Paige came over from. AJ Lee is at the point where it's like, okay, you're back. Great. But the thing, when I look at that entire match, okay, AJ came back. Okay, she's back, but I don't care. I haven't cared about the Divas division since about Lita and Trish Stratus, when women actually wrestled, or Beth Phoenix. But now you have this storyline between twins that hated each other, and they were having this big feud, and then all of a sudden, 30 days are up. We're besties again. Really? Really? Are we on the elementary school playground now? Is that what we've come to with this wrestling bit? Are we seriously, 6 years old? Oh, you're a big, mean duty head, but this other person's worse, so I'm going to be friends with you. It's pathetic. The Divas division has become a joke, and not even a funny one. The Divas matches come on, I'm doing my dishes, I'm washing my floors, I'm doing everything but paying attention to the television screen. I think I would rather, put highlights in my beard. Hell, I'd rather dye my cat's hair than try to deal with this crap. AJ should have actually stayed gone. She should have stayed retired or out.
I think she should have too.
Enjoy your marriage to CM Punk before WWE sues the pants off him. Enjoy that. Enjoy your life outside of wrestling. There was no point to her.
I guess they said they're bringing her back because they want her to have one final match with Stephanie McMahon and bring the CM Punk storyline into it. To me, I think that would be... Whoa. Yeah.
Do I have to bring up the Stephanie McMahon versus Vince McMahon abysmal match? Do I have to bring back the Stephanie McMahon winning the WWF Women's Championship and that whole giant steaming turd that they laid in the ring? Stephanie McMahon should stay backstage, keep with the annoying broad storyline, that's fine. Protect the giant hooters that she had installed so one doesn't pop like China when Mark Henry clotheslined her. And if you haven't seen that part, look that up. It's kind of entertaining to watch it deflate. Really, really funny. And Mark Henry's facial expression during that whole thing was priceless. Unlike this entire AJ versus Stephanie. Wow. I think I might have to go get my toenails painted during that. That's about how much I don't care.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like they could have a very entertaining match. I feel like the storyline could be really good if they do it correctly.
Have you watched Stephanie wrestle? Have you watched Stephanie in the ring? She is the equivalent of a living wet fart. It's brutal. It stinks. No one wants to see it or hear it or smell it. It's just awful. And it can stay buried in the back of my nightmares, and I wouldn't have a problem with it. And if I have to see her in one more spandex bodysuit, I'm going to sue the people who make them.
Most people enjoyed it, so.
I'm sorry, I keep forgetting. Most wrestling fans watch wrestling with their hands down their shorts. My bad.
Alrighty.
You're not gonna get this entertainment value with Joe. No offense, bud.
um,
Hey, listen, what
Daily
we got here
Show
is the best entertainment value you can get for only dramatic pause, 99.
The Daily Show with Seth Rollins. Obviously, John pretty much what he did was he told Seth, he tried to get in the mind of him, get in his mind, I guess, and said pretty much that the Authority did not care about him, and that if they did care about him, why isn't he in the main event for WrestleMania? Kind of got under Seth's skin a little bit. He obviously was getting very irritated and everything, and he said that you didn't deserve or earn that briefcase. We know that whose briefcase that rightfully belongs to. And he just pretty much said that if it wasn't for the Authority, Seth would be nothing, and that they don't care about him. And obviously trying to maybe set up Seth maybe eventually leaving the Authority. I think that he needs to. Not saying he needs to turn face, but I think that he gets without him. I really do.
Let's get into this for a moment, and I'm also going to bring up more history. Get out a notebook and pencil, kids. Trust me, I'm going to get you a lot of stuff you're really going to want to watch on the WWE Network for only dramatic pause, 99. Now, let's go to that whole segment. Jon Stewart thing, again, pointless. Seth Rollins yoking him up because, he decided to hit all these little sore points about how Kane helped him and blah, 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 blah. If I wanted to see an old gentleman soil themselves in the ring like, Jon Stewart almost did when he got yoked up, I would watch the entire segment of Raw where Austin had McMahon down on his knees, put the fake gun to his head, pulled it, and said bang, and Vince McMahon pissed himself. That's about the only time I really want to see a grown old man mess himself in the ring. It was pointless. Poorly done. The only thing that could have made that as bad, actually might have even saved it, was a fake laugh track. It was the dumbest segment I have seen in ages. You go from great segments on the program to that. Woof. Then you have Randy Orton come out, to stop the whole beating thing. Which, in a way, thank you, Randy, for ending this abysmal segment and saving my eyes from any further scarring. Because this was just bad. Then you have, like I said, the whole Randy Orton-Seth Rollins thing. I'm beginning to not see it at WrestleMania. I'm seeing this as, honestly, Seth's punishment for the nudes. He's going to be... I don't think he's really going to be on WrestleMania much. He might do the cash-in. Yeah. Okay, that could happen. Great. But I think this is his very, very, for what happened, slap on the wrist punishment. You're not going to feud with Orton until afterwards.
Yeah.
Orton... I don't think he's going to turn anytime soon. Orton, personally, I like him better as a heel. He does better that way. The babyface Randy Orton, seen it, been there, done that. Got the T-shirt. Actually, I don't, because I don't support WWE merchandise. You should really, I make my own. Buy my merchandise. It's cheaper and better looking. Cheap plug. So it was just it was a pointless segment. It's really what it was. It was an absolutely pointless segment that did nothing. It didn't elevate Seth Rollins. It just made him look like a bully to old men. And with the Be a Star campaign, not quite the way you really want to do it. What's next, Seth? They're going to beat up a homeless guy on the street? Is that what you're going to do? The Jon Stewart thing. Is Jon Stewart going to do anything to help WWE outside of appear and pop a crowd? No. No, he's not. So that was literally a waste of time on the show they could have used for other things.
Yeah.
Thank you, Randy, for ending the segment early. I'm hoping. Next.
Alrighty. Luke Harper versus Daniel Bryan, and this was pretty much just the title stealing and everything like that, with Bryan winning. Bad News Barrett obviously was trying to take back his title, and then Dean Ambrose took it, and then R-Truth took it, and then Dolph eventually came out and took it, and looks like Dolph and Daniel Bryan had a nice little stare down.
That was
funny because that was the rumors that they were supposed to face each other, and then there was rumors obviously with Sheamus facing him. When Sheamus is supposed to return, I have no idea. I don't think he'll be. I feel like maybe he might return at WrestleMania.
You
I
know
don't think
what?
he'll actually be.
I almost see the way they're going to do it. If he returns to WrestleMania, it will be in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. He can be
Yeah.
the big name. He can be that big name that comes
That's
in and
true.
wins it, and puts him back into the position that he was before he got injured and had to leave for a bit. The Luke Harper Barrett match was good. It was entertaining. Finally, they're using Luke Harper again because Luke Harper is a great talent. And I like the whole thing with him, with the title stealing again. Just very entertaining stuff. You have his former mentor, Bray Wyatt, taking the Undertaker's spot. He's being set up as the next Undertaker. Luke Harper, in my opinion, is being set up to take Kane's spot as that monster, the silent monster. Love it. Very entertaining. This ladder match is shaping up to be something that's a can't miss. You've got Dolph Ziggler, who some people in this group, one in particular, thinks he oversells and hates the guy with a vigorous passion. I think you and I both know who I'm talking about. Nick Nemeth is one talented son of a bitch. He could go out there and wrestle the Invisible Man and have a fantastic match.
Yep.
And that's something you don't see a lot of anymore. He makes you believe. Now, mind you, his bump style is a little risky, and I've seen him do a few things. I'm going, oh, God, why would you do that? I've taken some pretty stupid bumps, but I'm looking going, dude, how is your spine not coming out your ass? Like, ow. He is just an amazingly talented guy, and putting him in this match, because we've seen him in the Money in the Bank ladder match before, and had some great, great spots. We know that he's a spot monkey. He loves his high-flying spots and the holy shit spots. He loves those. That's what this match needs. You're going to put him and Daniel Bryan in there. Daniel Bryan, the same thing. We'll put it all on the line. Luke Harper is taking the spot of Kane in that as Kane did for those few years in the Money in the Bank ladder match, was that big unstoppable monster that threw people around. Great setup. And this, in my opinion, there are 3 people I'd love to see walk out with that belt. Dolph Ziggler. Actually 4, I'm sorry. Hell, give it to anybody but Barrett. Take it off Barrett. The reason I say take it off Barrett is as ready now as he is, as he may ever be, to step into the WWE Championship picture. Not to win it, but to be a strong contender that comes this close. Just that close to build him even further. Right now, the people you need to focus on building, Daniel Bryan, already over. Dolph Ziggler, already over. But could use the Intercontinental title and springboard once again back into the main event picture. 3 people who could use that belt right now. They could actually use it to elevate their career. Dean Ambrose. R-Truth, probably not going to happen. And Luke Harper. Because Luke Harper could use that belt to, once again, be a 2-time Intercontinental Champion, but elevate himself to that main event picture, which is where he deserves to be after he changes his shirt. Dean Ambrose he's been after the Intercontinental title. Already had the U.S. title. Did great with that, though he didn't defend it. But he takes the Intercontinental title and brings that unpredictability back to the belt. Beautiful. Beautiful. If you don't do that, Luke Harper takes the belt, and you have Dean Ambrose having to go against Luke Harper in the monster versus the nut job. And let him go. Let him go out there, do whatever they want to do. Smack each other with, the WWE logo sign from the stage of Raw for all I care. Hit each other with bulldozers. I don't care. It's going to be entertaining. But Luke Harper is one of the people that this is going to put him where he needs to be. Dean Ambrose, it's going to put him where he needs to be. Daniel Bryan, in my opinion, is filling a spot, but it's a spot that he can be used in and used in properly. R-Truth, we're having fun with him again, and he's not talking about little Jimmy anymore. Jesus. And it's wonderful. Barrett has taken the Intercontinental title since his return, built himself back up to where he was before he got injured and needed the surgery, and now is ready to start stepping into the main event picture, in my opinion. Continue.
Yep. And with Luke Harper, I actually really almost lost faith in him, and I'm so happy that they're finally using him again because he was just jobbing out. You never really seen him, so I'm glad that they're actually putting him in this match. I really am. Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins. This was a pretty fast match. Obviously, Randy helped Rollins to get a quick roll-up victory. Made Seth obviously look strong. Roman didn't need the win anyways. Roman obviously is ready for Brock. Well, I guess as ready as he'll ever be.
Nobody is ready for Brock because Brock, unfortunately, that boy gonna whoop his ass, and it's not gonna be
I definitely see a
storyline-wise.
Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar #2.
I said that earlier. I know you and I had that conversation one night that it could turn into that. I don't see that happening anymore.
You don't?
I don't. I do see Roman Reigns finally stepping into where he needs to be, kind of stepping out of the shell and being, as Paul Heyman's been putting him over, the violent Samoan who's got a chip on his shoulder and a bad attitude. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Roman is now just starting to get it. He's just starting to really start filling the shoes he needs to fill, which are obviously John Cena's.
Very true.
You take a look at the way that was built up. Did Roman need to go over in that match? No. Should it have gone the way it did? No.
Not really.
What I personally think should have happened, if they want to build this tension between Randy Orton and Seth Rollins, Rollins was getting his ass handed to him and beaten like the redheaded stepchild in a mailman with a wire coat hanger because he stole mama's milk. I mean, he was getting tore up and the floor up. They were just beating on him. And you had the entire Authority and J&J Security, oh God, getting involved. What they should have done, okay, everything didn't work. Orton comes in, RKO's Reigns, causes the DQ, furthering the tension between Seth Rollins and Randy Orton. Instead, we got a cheap roll-up that you couldn't have done any worse if you won it with a backslide. And nobody wins with a backslide. Well, they do, but it's just shitty. Bad booking. Bad. Roll up a newspaper and whack them on the nose. Bad. To close out Raw with that...
Yeah, it definitely wasn't a good ending.
What they should have done, you really want to do it? Okay, cool. Orton helps Seth win. Or if we did, let's just go with what happened, not with what I said they should have booked it. Okay. Orton helps him win. The Authority goes out with... The Authority goes after Orton, saying, what the hell? Why'd you do that? Blah, 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 blah. Okay, great. You have Seth Rollins standing in the ring alone, trying to celebrate. Reigns gets up, Superman punch to the face. Close out with Reigns looking strong and ready for Brock. I do see... I actually rescind my statement a little while ago to you that night.
Mm-hmm.
Because, unfortunately, I do feel bad for Reigns. Brock is very physical in the rings. We saw with Undertaker last year. We saw with Cena. Reigns is going to get his ass kicked. And it's not going to be in a wrestling sense. It's going to be a shoot. The boy's going to take some lumps. The thing is, if Roman Reigns goes over and takes the WWE World Heavyweight title, you and I had discussed this, and you want it to happen, and I told you no. Which is very rare with me and you. But, if Seth cashes in and takes the strap from Roman Reigns, you shoot Reigns in the foot. Kill his push right there. Don't do it. If you want to have, Rollins cash in, either do it the next night on Raw when everybody's watching, but have him do it the screwjob way, or wait until Money in the Bank at the very last second when he can't wait any longer. Main event, title picture. Reigns has been beat down, retains the belt, he's weakened. Rollins pulls an edge, comes out the last second, rolls him up 1, 2, 3, bam, new champ. Starts a program with Orton and Rollins for the strap, and you have an established former champion working with Rollins to get him into position where he needs to be. Still keeps Reigns looking good, still puts Reigns in that position of the new John Cena, but everybody wins in that situation. It's not a one-sided, One person looks good, and the rest, well, here's a shovel, dig yourself out of your grave.
Yeah, I do agree. I feel like if he doesn't cash in at WrestleMania, that they need to just wait until Money in the Bank. I feel like it would be pointless to just have him cash in the night after WrestleMania because it's like, what's
Actually,
the point? I feel like they should have just
I
let
just
him
thought of
cash
something.
in at WrestleMania.
I just thought of something. If you really want to do it that way, if this is Reigns, yeah, sorry about that. If this is Rollins being punished, okay, and you want to do the Orton versus Rollins storyline,
Have
I've
Randy.
got, I've got a perfect setup. He goes to cash in, out comes Orton, RKO's him, Reigns retains the belt, screws Seth Rollins out of the Money in the Bank, and there's your feud from there.
Yeah,
There's your next program.
which would
That's
piss
how you
me
get it done.
off, but
Well, we know that that's, your hubby over there, the guy that I'm competing
whatever.
with, the bastard. Tyler Black, you son of a bitch, I'm still coming for you. Um, we'll leave that side of our personal lives out of this.
Whatever.
But, that would be the way to establish that great program between those two. That would allow Randy to get what he needs. It would allow Rollins to get what he needs, and still keeps Reigns looking good. That would be the ideal, and if I were booking it and trying to make money, that's how I would do it. But we all know that WWE is the Dr. Seuss of booking. One fish, two fish, oh my god, screw fish. That's about what it's getting to be.
I think it also depends on Brock Lesnar, too, because supposedly, obviously, there's been this huge fight with Brock Lesnar and Vince. If you guys haven't heard, Vince was supposed to appear last Monday, and he didn't because, obviously, there was a huge fight, and they're supposed to be working out his contract. He's supposed to be re-signing, supposedly. I don't know. And I guess he wants to be champion for longer than what they want him to be. So if Brock does retain, I highly doubt that's going to happen, though. I think Reigns is obviously going to get the title. But if Brock retains, I can definitely see Seth cashing in at WrestleMania because it's not going to hurt Brock. And you might as well make it a triple threat.
Well, the question that I would have, okay, let's take what you just said and put it into perspective. From a different perspective, obviously, than the one you're looking at. Let's say you did do that. Brock does go over. Okay? Well, we saw what happened at the Royal Rumble. When you had that fantastic triple threat.
Mm-hmm.
And no matter what was thrown at Lesnar, Lesnar wouldn't go down.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, he had the 15-minute rest spot because he gets blown up as soon as he steps through the ropes. I threw a punch. Oh, God, rest hold. No offense, Brock, your cardio sucks. Again, so does mine.
The same with Roman Reigns. That's why I think it's going to be a horrible match.
See, but Roman can pull it out of him. Brock, with all of his health problems with the diverticulitis and all the surgeries, he's lost that marathon runner bit that he had back when he was working with Kurt Angle. Or working with The Undertaker in Unforgiven and the unforgettable Hell in a Cell when Taker was bleeding like somebody, shot an entire family and dumped it on him. It was just, he doesn't have that anymore. Yeah. Now, hold on. Now, am I saying that Brock Lesnar isn't strong anymore? No. Would I stand in front of Brock Lesnar and eat a right hand? No. I like being able to eat solid foods and having a jaw that's not powder. I don't have a glass jaw, but I'm pretty sure that boy hits me once. I'm 3 states over in a coma. So you have to look at it that way. But if Brock retains, honestly, Brock doesn't need the belt. Right now, yes, Brock is a special attraction. Okay, great. But you can't have the WWE title as a special attraction. Does it have to be defended every show? No. Does it have to be defended every pay-per-view? No. That's the problem with a lot of companies. TNA's doing it right now where the world title's, in a constant state of hot potato. Companies that I've worked for, the world title's on the line every show. Why? You don't need it on the line all the time, but you need it to be a visual presence so people don't forget it's there. That'd be like putting, and God help me for saying this because I'm going to catch so much shit. That would be like putting the WWE World Heavyweight title on The Undertaker. much as we'd all love to see it, and he is the only part-timer that can come back whenever he wants and get the title, and nobody would care, because it's Deadman. You know, but that'd be like putting a strap on him, and he shows up next year. Sure, we can't wait to see The Undertaker, but what does that do to the WWE title? You know, it's the booking perspective of, I understand less is more. But that is what your company is defined by. That is your company's grand prize. And if at each show there isn't something where somebody is chasing it, or at least it's in front of them, what are you doing? What's the point in having the strap on Lesnar? This isn't UFC where he defends the title twice a year. Because, you know, you get 6 months in between fights to rest. Because they're going out there and hitting each other with extreme prejudice. This isn't that environment. And that's what they're trying to, I think, that's what's happened with Brock taking the strap, is he's held it for so long, and you look at everything in every match he's been in as he's defended the belt, name one time you really felt the title was in jeopardy. I mean, really felt it was in jeopardy. You haven't. You know that by the way it's booked, Lesnar's going over, he's beating the hell out of whoever's in front of him, throwing him around like a rag doll with a bunch of suplexes, because that's about all he can do anymore. Suplex F5. And some punches and the Kimura lock. He's John Cena, the 5 moves of doom. You know, and that's not any bash to Cena. The guy got over and has busted his ass, and I give him credit where credit is due. I mean, I like the guy a whole lot, but I give credit where credit's due. You need to have the title as a constant presence, not a mouthpiece coming out every week and talking about it. So exactly. I don't care if Lesnar stays around. I hope he does. But I hope he drops the strap just so we can actually see the title more than just once every 3 months or, well, we're supposed to see it tonight, but Brock got a case of the ass and want to take his ball and go home because he had an argument with Vince. That's my opinion on that one.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. Hopefully they'll work something out. It's Vince. Vince loves Brock. Brock's money, so I'm sure they'll work something out.
See, you said it right there, though. Vince loves Brock. Brock is money. Brock likes money. And I'm pretty sure we all know what Vince will do. As we had it shoved down our throats, whatever's best for business. And if it's best for business, you can bet your ass that Vince McMahon will open his checkbook as wide as he needs to, bend over and kiss Brock's feet and write the fattest check you've ever seen to keep him around. Again, my opinion, but back to our wonderful host.
I agree. I definitely agree. I definitely agree. All right, guys. Well, like I said, the ending to Raw was but yeah, we'll see what happens with the whole Seth and Randy thing and the whole Lesnar thing, maybe signing for a different year or whatever happens with that. Alrighty, guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, and don't forget to join our Facebook group.
Hey, and one more thing, if I can just get this in real quick. If you like the comedy that I throw and you like what I've said on here, feel free to tell Haley to keep me on and keep me doing this, because I do this for all of you guys. I'm not just a wrestler. I'm a wrestling fan, just like all of you guys. So if you like my input, tell her to keep me on the program. Please. Thank you.
He was very entertaining, don't you think, guys? All right. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye.